Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Assad.
Hi, Angela. We are unpacking avoiding common debt payoff mistakes, how to use avalanche versus snowball strategies effectively today, and tying it back to the wider cost saver ecosystem, including tools like Debt Overpayment Priority Planner so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are getting into something that, okay, I'll just say it, probably keeps more of us up at night than we'd like to admit. Debt. Specifically, two strategies you've probably heard thrown around, avalanche and snowball. A thought, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Angela. Yeah, and look, if you've ever Googled how to pay off debt fast, you've definitely seen these two pop up within like the first 30 seconds. They sound quite dramatic, avalanche, snowball, but honestly, the ideas behind them are refreshingly simple.
So, break it down for me. I've heard the names a million times, but I'm not sure I could explain the difference to someone at a dinner party?
Right, okay. So both methods start from the same place. You're paying the minimum on all your debts. That's non-negotiable. And then whatever spare cash you've got, you're funneling it into one specific debt at a time. The only disagreement is which debt gets that extra money first.
Okay.
So with Avalanche, you go after the debt with the highest interest rate. Doesn't matter if it's a tiny balance or a massive one. It's purely about the APR. So if you've got a credit card sitting at 24.9% next to a personal loan at 7.9%, that card gets all your firepower until it's did.
So it's the spreadsheet nerd approach, the mathematical one.
Yeah, basically. And on paper, it is the cheapest route. You pay less interest overall, you finish faster. Like on a 6,000-pound debt pile mixing cards and loans, the interest savings can comfortably reach 800 to 1,400 pounds over 3 years.
Wait, up to 1,400? That's not nothing.
No, it's significant. And here's where it gets interesting. The snowball method, which was popularized by Dave Ramsey, tells you to do the opposite. Target the smallest balance first, regardless of the interest rate.
So it's about the quick win, the momentum thing.
Exactly. The logic is psychological, not mathematical. Clearing a small debt quickly gives you that visible win, that kind of dopamine hit, I suppose. And behavioral economists have actually studied this. Completion rates for snowball plans are often higher, even when they cost more in interest.
So people actually finish more often even though it costs them more.
Yeah, which is kind of a lot to sit with, actually. Does that make sense? Like, the worst plan on paper can be the better plan in practice because humans aren't spreadsheets.
No, that makes total sense. It's about knowing yourself.
Massively. But, and I really want to stress this, neither method involves paying less than the minimum on any debt, ever. Missing minimum payments triggers fees, interest hikes, credit score damage. It just wipes out any strategic gains you've made. That's foundational.
Right. Okay. Non-negotiable. Got it. So when does Avalanche genuinely win? Like, when is it clearly the right call?
So Avalanche is the right pick when the interest rate gap between your debts is wide. If your highest rate debt is at 29.9% and your lowest is a 0% balance transfer, the cost of ignoring Avalanche logic becomes significant really fast. Same thing if you've got large amounts on store cards or payday-style products where compound interest is just eating your repayments alive.
Yeah, those high-rate products are brutal.
They really are. And Avalanche also works when your income is stable and you've got the temperament to wait. Some people genuinely don't need the quick win. If you can look at a spreadsheet, see you'll save 1,400 pounds in interest by being patient, and feel motivated by that number alone, Avalanche is your friend.
And Snowball, when does that genuinely win?
Snowball shines when you've got like 5, 6, or more debts piling on top of each other. The sheer number of bills winding each month becomes this psychological burden, and clearing 2 or 3 small ones quickly reduces that admin load. Fewer direct debits to track, fewer chances to mess up.
I can imagine that being just overwhelming, honestly.
It is. And okay, this is the one that I think really matters. Snowball wins when you've tried and failed before. If you've started a debt payoff plan twice and given up both times, the issue isn't your maths, it's your motivation. A 12-month plan you actually finish beats an 11-month plan you abandon at month 4.
Oh, that's a really good way to put it. So it's not just about picking the right method, though, is it? What actually derails people?
Okay, so here's the uncomfortable truth. Most debt plans don't fail because someone picked the wrong method. They fail because of mistakes that have nothing to do with avalanche or snowball at all. And the single biggest one, the one I see over and over, is skipping the emergency fund.
Oh, really? That's the number one thing?
Yeah. So picture this. You throw every spare pound at your credit card. You feel great for 2 months, and then the car needs a new clutch. With nothing in savings, that $600 bill goes straight back onto the card you've been hammering. You've made zero net progress, and you just feel demoralized.
Oh, God, yeah, that would be devastating.
Most UK money advice services, including Money Helper, suggest holding at least $500 to $1,000 in a separate savings account before you go aggressive on debt. Some recommend a full month of essential expenses. The exact figure matters less than the principle. You need a buffer so life's normal surprises don't undo your work.
That's actually reassuring in a way. Like, it's okay to save a bit first before going all in on the debt.
Totally. And a quick tip on that, open that savings account at a different bank from your current account. The friction of transferring money back makes you less likely to dip into it for non-emergency.
Smart. What else trips people up?
Ignoring the budget side. Like, a debt payoff strategy is only as good as the spare money feeding it, right? If you've got 40 pounds a month to overpay, no clever method is going to clear $18,000 of debt quickly. The bigger lever is almost always cutting expenses or earning more, not optimizing which debt you target first.
Right, I was going to say, you can't just strategy your way out of not having enough money. Exactly. And then there's windfalls, tax rebates, work bonuses, birthday money, selling stuff on Vinted. All of it should go straight onto the targeted debt. People who finish their plans quickly tend to treat every unexpected pound as already spoken for.
I love that rule from the blog. If you didn't expect the money this morning, it goes on the debt by tonight.
Yeah, it's a good mental trick. You won't miss what you never planned to have. Another big one, refinancing without a plan. Balance transfers and consolidation loans can be brilliant tools or expensive traps.
How so?
A 0% balance transfer card that buys you 24 months of interest-free runway is gold, but only if you're committed to clearing the balance before the promotional rate ends. Otherwise, you've just shifted the problem and paid a 3% transfer fee for the privilege.
And consolidation loans have the same.
Same issue, yeah. They lower your monthly payment, which feels great, but they often extend the term and increase the total interest paid. And worse, people sometimes consolidate their credit cards and then immediately start using the cards again, doubling their debt.
Wait, seriously? That is wild.
It's genuinely alarming how often it happens. That's why if you do a balance transfer or consolidation, cut up the original cards or freeze them, like physically remove the temptation. Fair enough. Drastic, but necessary.
And the last common mistake, not tracking progress visually. Both methods rely on momentum, and momentum needs to be visible. A chart on the fridge, a coloring in tracker, a spreadsheet that updates each month, anything that lets you see the line going the right direction. People who track, finish. People who don't, drift. It's just one of those things, you know?
Okay, so we've covered the methods, the mistakes. How do we actually choose, like practically?
Right. So step 1, list every debt with its balance, minimum payment, and APR. Do not skip this. You cannot plan around debts you vaguely estimated in your head. Step 2, calculate the interest gap between your highest and lowest rate. If it's bigger than 10 percentage points, avalanche savings will be significant.
10 percentage points. Okay.
Then, count your debts. 5 or more, and the psychological benefit of snowball starts to become really valuable. And then, be honest about your track record. If you've abandoned plans before, pick the method that gives you faster visible wins.
And I guess run the numbers on both.
Yeah, and this is the bit people skip. Calculate the cost of being wrong. Sometimes the avalanche only saves 200 pounds over 3 years, in which case the motivational benefit of Snowball is worth more than the maths. Like Priya from Leeds, she was a reader who got in touch.
Oh yeah, tell me about Priya.
So she had 3 debts. Credit card A, 800 pounds at 22.9% APR with a 25 minimum. Credit card B, 2,400 pounds at 18.9% with a 60 minimum, and a personal loan, 5,000 pounds at 7.5% with 150 fixed monthly. She had $100 a month spare for overpayments on top of the minimums.
Okay.
Under Avalanche, she'd hit card A first, highest rate, but it also happened to be the smallest balance, so both methods actually agreed on the first target. The methods only diverge when balance order and rate order disagree.
I hadn't thought about it like that. So they can overlap.
Yeah, more often than people think. Anyway, she ran both scenarios through a planner, and the difference between the two methods was only 73 pounds in total interest. She picked Snowball because she liked the momentum, finished in 31 months, never looked back.
73? For all that agonizing over which method to pick.
Right, which is why you run your actual numbers. And honestly, some people use a hybrid approach. Snowball for the first 1 or 2 deaths to build momentum, then switch to Avalanche once you're in the rhythm. There's no debt police checking which method you used.
No debt police, I like that. So what are the specific pitfalls for each method, just so people know what to watch for?
For Avalanche, the big one is loss of patience, when your highest rate debt is also your biggest. You might go a full year without seeing a single debt cleared, so you need other markers, like balance milestones, to keep yourself going. And then there's rate chasing, obsessing over finding slightly better balance transfers and constantly restructuring your plan. Pick a plan and stick with it for at least 6 months before reviewing.
And don't forget promotional periods end, right?
Oh, that's a huge one. A 0% card with 18 months left looks low rate now, but jumps to 24.9% later. You have to build the rate change into your plan.
What about snowball pitfalls?
Choosing it when you only have 2 deaths. The motivational benefit is minimal at that point. Just do the maths. And, okay, this one's kind of funny, but also not. People sometimes add new small debts to game the system, like taking on a tiny debt so they can have another quick win.
No, people actually do that?
Yeah, don't do that. And the other one is stopping after the easy wins. People clear the small debts, feel triumphant, and then lose steam before tackling the big balances. The whole plan needs to be the destination, not just the first couple of milestones.
Okay, so beyond method choice, what habits actually make either approach work?
Right, so automate your minimum payment so you never miss one. Set up a standing order for your monthly overpayment on the day after payday, so it leaves before you can spend it. Review your budget monthly, not daily. Daily checking leads to either obsession or burnout.
Monthly, not daily. That's actually hard for some people, I'd imagine.
It is, but it works. And look at every recurring household cost at least once a year. Energy, broadband, mobile, insurance, subscriptions, even small reductions compound when redirected to debt.
And then celebrating milestones, but not in a way that, undoes the progress.
Exactly. Clearing a debt deserves a marker, but the marker doesn't need to cost $200. A nice meal in, a film night, a walk somewhere new, reward the behavior, not the bank balance. Have I explained all that clearly? I feel like I've thrown a lot at you.
No, honestly, it's been really clear. So let me try to pull this together. The avalanche versus snowball thing isn't really about which method is best in some abstract sense. It's about which one matches you, your psychology, your income stability, how many debts you're juggling.
Yeah, the mathematically optimal plan is worthless if you abandon it in month 3, and the slightly suboptimal plan is reliable gold if you actually finish it.
And what matters more than the method is the infrastructure around it. Emergency fund, automated payments, tracked budget, honest look at your household costs.
That's it. Get those right, and either method will get you debt-free. Get them wrong, and no amount of strategic cleverness will save you. The path out is rarely exciting, but it is reliable.
Run your numbers, pick the plan you'll actually stick to, automate it, and check in monthly. Thanks so much, Assad.
Thanks, Angela.
Quick side note, this guide connects with other cost-saver blogs, especially optimizing home energy efficiency with weather-aware planning, understanding your energy bill breakdown, and guide to cutting laundry drying costs.
Exactly. And reading those together helps you connect the dots across your household budget, not just this one topic in isolation.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like Debt Overpayment Priority Planner right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include Money Helper and Money Saving Expert, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost-saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone who could put these ideas to work this week.
Your next step is simple. Try Debt Overpayment Priority Planner, then read Optimizing Home Energy Efficiency with Weather-Aware Planning, and use them together to take action today.